Hey, beauty. So it looks like we will probably have to look for a new homeschool co-op. And as I was looking for another co-op and other homeschool curriculum, there are just so many options. There's the Charlotte Mason method, there's the classical method, then there are eclectic methods, and then when you get into the different subjects like math, there's so many different math curriculum that you can choose from. There's so much science that you can choose from. And then when you get down to it, people segregate themselves into different groups. They say, oh, I follow the Charlotte Mason method, or I follow the classical method. It's the best method. Everyone should follow it. If you're not part of a classical conversations community, you're not giving your child the best education. And then there's people who think that everyone should homeschool their child. There's other people that just think that you shouldn't put your child into public school. We put ourselves in these different camps, and it made me think of the food wars or the diet wars going on, where some people say that keto is for everyone, everyone should be on a keto diet. Others say that the vegan diet is the way to go. No one should be eating animals, and they think that people do not care about animals if they're eating animals. And there's the paleo diet. There's also the primal diet. There's intuitive eating. Then there are different superfoods that people say are superfoods. But then you talk to another health guru and they say that no, actually, this food is terrible for you and you will get sick if you eat it. It's crazy, right? We create all these different categories. We set up all these different rules that we're supposed to follow. Like, if you follow a certain diet, you must eat this way. You must stay away from this food. If you homeschool your child, some people think there's only one type of curriculum that you should choose. It makes me think of Galatians 5:1, and I know that I've mentioned this before. Galatians 5:1 says, "For freedom Christ has set us free. Stand firm, therefore, and do not submit again to a yoke of slavery." God gives us freedom for so many things, but I think that sometimes we end up making rules for ourselves. We put ourselves into these categories. For instance, when I think about homeschooling, I really didn't know about all the different types of homeschool curriculum out there. Once I started learning about it, I really began to wonder which curriculum is the best, which curriculum is what everyone is, quote, supposed to use. I did a whole lot of research this weekend. I was researching different curriculum for hours, and I didn't come to a solid conclusion. When it comes to a lot of things in our lives, I think that sometimes we just get so tired that we want someone to tell us what to do. We just want to follow some influencer who will tell us this is the best homeschool curriculum, or follow the health guru that says this is the best diet to be on. Or when it comes to politics, we just choose a side and then whatever whether you call yourself a Republican or a Democrat, whatever the Republicans say goes, or whatever the Democrats say goes. In a way, it's just so much easier for us to do exactly what people tell us to do, right? Also, when it comes to like homeschooling, for example, I just don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to have regrets. I don't want to look back years from now and realize or just have regrets and think that I didn't do what was best for my kids. The problem with just following the crowd, problem with not thinking for ourselves is that if we do that, if we just end up following the crowd, we will not necessarily end up in a place that is God's best for us. And when it comes to our health, I say this all the time, each one of us is uniquely made in God's image, fearfully and wonderfully. Every body is different. I talk about this in my book, Discover God's Health Wisdom, Exposing 8 Common Myths That Keep You Sick. Every body is different, and a diet that works for you may not work for someone else. I am a nurse, but not many nurses will tell you that you don't have to do what the doctor says. In fact, sometimes it's wise, a lot wiser to not do what the doctor says. The God of the Bible, Jesus, who performed miracles, he's the same God today. So he can perform a miracle when it comes to anything, including your health. But if he doesn't perform that miracle, or if you don't experience the healing right away, I will tell you to ask for God's wisdom first. Don't just do what the doctor says. Actually, before you even choose a doctor, ask ask God, who is the right practitioner for me? Don't just follow that health guru. Don't just try that next supplement. Don't jump on that next health craze. Ask God for wisdom first. And at the end of the day, you may find that that certain diet that health guru told you to follow is best for you, or God may lead you to something completely different. I don't believe that God wants us to be bound by the strange rules that we put on ourselves, like that we have to follow a certain homeschool curriculum or that we have to follow a certain diet. The freedom comes when we stop following the gurus, we stop following a certain ideology or whatever it is. The freedom comes when we actually go to God for our wisdom when it comes to our health and for everything else. Matthew 11. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. God wants to give us rest. True freedom is found when we choose to follow God, when we choose to rest in Him, when we choose to put Him first instead of the physician, the health guru, the politician, the homeschool curriculum, whatever ideology it is, the diet, the supplement, the new unconventional health method. Some of those supplements can be helpful, some of those diets can be helpful, but true freedom comes when we put God first, when we find our rest in God.